Those ruins shouldn't be there, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as always by my co-hosts Lauren and Bruce. And guys, I talked to you this past week, and it seems like Sonic X fatigue is really setting in with you guys.
Yeah.
Setting in? It set in a long time ago.
Oh.
It's been set in. I'm just living with it at this point.
Alright. It's like a regular mental illness, okay. Well,
Jesus.
we'll alleviate that by I guess burning through today's episode as fast as possible. We got 3 episodes here, and the amount that they feel like they matter is relatively low.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
Yeah, honestly.
It's not pointless. They get a Chaos Emerald, but
They do get a Chaos Emerald.
it's not. Yeah, we're starting here with episode 16. Aim for it. The Sunken Ship in the Southern Seas, or Depths of Danger in the dub. Sonic and the gang follow a Chaos Emerald to the Southern Sea, but discover it's hidden deep underwater. Meanwhile, Eggman struggles to evade detection in his own sunken ship.
Yeah, they do want to find Eggman, and he is hiding out at the start.
Yeah.
This moment where he's with Deco and Boko, and he's like, "Oh, be quiet," is kind of funny, because it's pretty obvious that, like, there's no way that them making a sound would alert them. That makes no sense. And Eggman drops the act after a little bit.
Yeah,
I thought I had actually heard about something like that, where a submarine was found because the crew was making too much noise.
Maybe it's possible, but he
Well,
he
I don't
like
know.
yells at them to go.
Yeah,
fix
he gets angry with them. I also did a research and couldn't figure out what I was thinking of, so I probably just imagined it.
Well, you know, maybe things work different in the Sonic universe. Things such as social security and passports. Aren't you excited?
Giving them fucking social security numbers. What the fuck?
Why would
Sonic reacts surprisingly well. He's just like, cool. Now I can run around and people won't bother me.
I really do not believe that Sonic hasn't just already been to other countries.
Yeah,
he absolutely has.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
you know,
I don't.
maybe he got harassed by cops enough that he got sick of it.
Maybe he's just lying to Chris.
Yeah, he's just trying to make it feel better.
Getting better at putting on a face.
Oh,
Sorry.
does it make sense for them to have social security numbers?
I mean, they're citizens now, so yeah.
I guess so.
Do they have to take a citizenship test, you think? Does Sonic need to know the names of the presidents?
I think the president just awarded it to them because they're heroes.
Yeah. The president was just like, "You guys are cool," or whatever. We kind of need you.
Yeah, this is our apology for that whole trying to get you with soldiers. Anywho, yeah, so International Emerald Hunt at an island resort, which we already did an island resort episode, but
Oh boy, it was
Yeah.
maybe 10 episodes ago. I don't remember what number it was.
oh, it's not even that many because it was like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh god.
But you know, it's our second beach episode. We already had one episode set at a beach, and now we have another.
Right.
But this time, we do at least have Sonic around. He was just kind of hanging out somewhere else at the previous one. But he's like, I don't want to go near the water to look for an emerald.
He's back to being like a petulant child again.
That's fine. I like seeing Sonic be a dick to Chris. You know,
I would agree, but I don't know. It seems I guess it doesn't seem out of character for this Sonic.
well, it's just, this is the episode that I think aired on American TV the most, or at least that I saw the most when it did, because I vividly remember this sequence of Chris brainstorming ways to keep Sonic safe underwater, and all of them failing hilariously.
Yeah, I mean, there's some logic behind his ideas, at least.
Well, I mean, individually, any of these could theoretically work, but it's like, when eventually they just give up and are like, all right, well, let's just try scuba gear. Why didn't you do that from the start?
Why don't we just do the scuba gear in the first place, Chris? Come on. Use your brain, kid.
It's
He has
also...
trouble with that sometimes.
Yeah. It's also weird because
like
they
it.
basically get it for free, which is like, Chris, you got
Yeah,
money.
the government's just gonna pay for all of Sonic's shit now.
Yeah, the clerk gives us this amazing line, Congress passed a special Sonic budget, so the country will pay for everything.
That's great.
They're
What if
trying to bribe for their allegiance, I guess.
What if they're in a different country?
Yeah, I thought that was the whole reason that they needed passports to come here.
Well, I figured this is just like Hawaii or something.
Do you need a passport to go to Hawaii?
No. I think the passport thing was just
Just a
pointless.
non sequitur?
Yeah, I don't think the passport thing had anything to do with the rest of the episode.
Maybe. But the other thing that they get from the store guy here is he's like, oh, there's a sunken ship with treasure here. And so it's weird that they sort of logic their way into thinking that the sunken ship with treasure will have the Chaos Emerald.
Why would it?
Because
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes literally no sense.
because gems can be treasure, therefore all treasure tries to find each other. I don't know.
It's such a weird leap in logic.
Yeah, well, it's weirder because it works.
It does work, which is stupid.
Well, wait a second. So, chaos control has been shown to allow people to travel through both space and time. Perhaps the Chaos Emeralds were sent in the past when they were transported to
Oh
the
my
human
God.
world, and so they were actually part of the treasure.
What did the
Sure,
Chaos
why
Emerald
not?
sink the ship?
Sure,
Maybe.
the Chaos Emerald was it appeared where the ship was going to be, and it penetrated the hull. I don't fucking know.
Maybe the crab did it.
This bastard of a crab.
Okay. So this crab,
They're
right?
just a crab. They're
This crab
being
cut
they're being
Sonic's
their
air
best self.
tube in the Sonic air sequence.
Yeah.
But for some reason, that crab gets a profile on the commercial I catch.
That really threw me off.
Did they just not have anything else to put there?
Yeah, we've run out of main characters to give profiles.
I don't think that's true, but yeah.
I mean, we've run out of characters that the writers give enough of a shit about.
I don't think Mr. Stewart ever got one, so that's probably accurate.
Mhm.
Anywho, so Eggman and company finally resurface from the ocean to see a news report doxing the Sonic gang.
Ah, the paparazzi, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, that privacy invasion from last week can really serve a legitimate threat.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Chaos Emerald's inside the shipwreck, as we mentioned.
of course. I mean,
Yep.
you can see that coming from a mile away.
Yeah, they do another Bokun gag here, where he shows up to deliver the usual exploding TV screen, but everyone except Cheese is underwater, so he's like, huh. So he just gives it back to Eggman.
I was really hoping he would just blow up Cheese for some reason.
It would do nothing, it would have no effect.
Oh yeah, I know. It would have if he did it shouldn't have any effect. It'd just be funny.
We get some new egg lore here because Bokun is like, oh, nice get up, Doctor. Did you get that in prison? So I guess Eggman's been to prison.
I remember that dub line from when I watched the show, and I was like, oh,
What?
did they put Eggman in prison at some point on this show, and I just missed it? And no,
No.
they do that later, but that
Oh.
didn't happen in the episodes up to this point. So
Fascinating. So we're just pulling random shit out of our ass now.
I mean, it's not unbelievable to me that Eggman would have been in prison back on their home planet at some point.
I guess my question though is what authority would put him in prison?
Princess Sally.
You got it.
You can't prove that the Acorn Kingdom doesn't exist in this show because they barely spent any time on the home planet.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Although they couldn't bring themselves to like call it Mobius or anything, so that's a pretty
Well,
small
yeah.
chance. They literally never call it anything. It's just our world, which is stupid.
Mhm.
So I would like to point out that Eggman is relaxing here on the surface, just chilling.
Right.
Like, what happened to the whole government looking for him thing?
Yeah, a satellite could very easily just find him.
Well, so we see later that Eggford is able to move around, so maybe he thinks he got it up and running well enough that he could defend himself if need be.
I guess.
Government was pretty gung-ho earlier, though.
They were.
Yeah, I'm not
Uh.
saying it's a good... it's a pretty weak defense. That's just the best I can manage.
Right.
The fucking crab has the blue emerald. He's involved in all this. The crab sunk the ship. That's what happened.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yes, that's the deep lore.
Yeah, so they're all
That's why
underwater.
the crab has a profile. They are one of the most important characters in the show.
You know what? I'll take it.
So Eggman interrupts, obviously, their emerald hunt. He's got this big jellyfish robot, E57, I think it is. But they're underwater, so that means that Sonic can't fight very well.
And Sonic also tells everyone else to go up to the surface, even though it would just be easier for everyone to go to the surface and fight E57.
Yeah, why would you stay down there?
If there's one other thing we've determined about Sonic, other than that he's an asshole, it's also he's kind of an idiot.
Inconsistent.
This again, this Sonic, he's not been shown to be very, maybe consistently smart.
There's going to be a weird episode in a while where it seems like Sonic may be the only person on the planet who's not an idiot. But
Interesting.
Oh boy, I
Okay.
can't wait for idiot plots.
in either case, Mr. Tanaka shows up in a yacht.
Why didn't they take this yacht to the Hawaii?
He says he's sworn to protect Chris from danger. How did you even know this was happening?
He's psychic.
He's been spying.
Yeah, was he just following them around the whole time?
He was told to do so by Chuck, I believe. So.
I believe so.
Did
He
I miss
was.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you
should
didn't
work
mention
with
that.
Mr. Stewart on the following Chris around gang.
I don't even think Mr. Stewart's even bothering to do that anymore.
Well, he's not here, so.
I'm
Yeah,
sure he's just got a day off.
Ah, yeah, of course.
Anyway,
No, he's just conveniently also on vacation here.
Oh yeah.
E57 does about the dumbest thing that it ever could and flings Sonic out of the water.
I guess that works. That works to get Sonic out of the water and make the fight go faster.
Boy, it's stupid. You have him right where
It
you
is.
want
No,
him.
it is stupid. Yeah, no, it totally is stupid.
Okay, but this is an Eggman robot. I could totally see a boss battle where you struggle against it underwater and then it flings you up
yeah.
and then you can damage it.
Oh yeah, I can
Yeah.
totally see that.
Sonic further proves, and maybe this is more reckless than stupid, he just tosses the rebreather out of there. He's like, you might need that, bro. You're not back out of the water yet.
Well, he doesn't though.
He doesn't.
He's not planning on going underwater again.
That's true. Well, I mean, you cannot plan to do a lot of things.
No, instead he just jet skis on his feet, which is... That's like a really hard thing to do. Can you do
I don't.
that?
He's wearing shoes. It's fine.
Alright. But, I don't know how to segue into the fact that Sam Speed is here for maybe no reason.
Probably came with Tanaka.
I guess.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter, because as usual, the solution is Tails throws him a ring, and he instantly destroys the
Uh-huh.
robot.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think that it would just be power rings every single time when it first came up and I complained about it, but wow. They really
It really
that's
is.
really just how the plot works.
Yeah, it's kind of. It's not very fun.
You know, our recurring complaint about almost... I guess it's every Sonic show except Sat AM, but maybe even Sat AM as well, is that they just have too many episodes that they don't know what to do with.
Mm,
You know, this is another The Formula episode.
yeah.
And it's like, when you have a bunch of these in a row, I feel like if you're not saying something about a character, a theme, or the world, it's
Sure.
easy to get bored, and that's what happens here.
Yeah.
Because,
I'd like to point out that after they win, Eggman's egg fort is literally shown on TV, so they know where he is. Where
Where he is and what it looks like.
Gun just they all went home. It was the end of their workday.
Yeah, it was 5:00.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the closest thing to and I hesitate to call it any kind of arc that we get in this episode is that they go back to shore and Tails tells Clerk Bro that they found the shipwreck but Eggman destroyed it, and we suddenly have this weird amount of sentiment over this because apparently the captain of the sunken ship was Clerk Bro's like ancestor. Like, he just seemed to mention it offhand, like, oh, here's an interesting thing. Apparently this really mattered to this unnamed guy.
This is the second time where an episode has been about some random background character that never shows up again, I assume. It's very weird how much the show cares about the random humans, especially the ones that have, like, no relevance, apparently.
Yeah, but, I mean, like... In other episodes, you can say that it's, you know, part of the development of, you know, whichever the protagonist is, but this doesn't have anything in particular that's good for Sonic, Tails, Amy, Cream, or
Yeah,
Chris.
there's
They're just
just
around.
yeah,
Could this could be interchanged with almost any other Chaos Emerald episode,
pretty much.
and that's why we're done talking about it. Let's move on to episode 17, the Wade Whipple Show featuring Knuckles. Oh no, sorry, that's not what it is. It's Knuckles,
I'm
Clenched Fists of Anger, or The Adventures of Knuckles and Hawk.
glad I'm not that I'm not the only one who immediately thought this sounds a lot like the premise of the Knuckles show.
You know, I haven't watched it yet, so
Neither have I. I keep meaning to.
could be anything. Anyway, driven to return home to Angel Island, Knuckles hunts for the Red Chaos Emerald with the help of an amateur treasure hunter named Hawk. And, this is the Knuckles episode. This is the Knuckles with no Sonic episode, so that's at least a slight change of pace.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say right off the bat that of the 3 episodes, I think this is probably the best.
yeah, probably.
I mean, it's Knuckles, and he's not a total fool for most of this episode, I'd say.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I can't even think of any egregious idiot moments, really.
not really.
Just like, little things that any character might do.
sure.
Yeah. So we have Knuckles, sort of, it's weird because we're kind of shown this as like a flashback first, reminiscing about this time he met this guy who is named Hawk in he's an amateur treasure hunter, as I said, this collapsing ancient temple. I don't know what this place's deal is because, well, we're not quite there, but there's things that don't make sense about some of the temples in this episode.
Mhm.
I
But we
really
do
like
have-
that Knuckles does narrate a lot of this first part.
Yeah, that is
Um,
kind of nice.
Like he's forging his own path. He's on his own mission.
Yeah.
Right.
And we do get introduced to something of a new setting in this episode. This is, well, they call it Oriental City. That's what it's called. And it's like rundown slums, but it's very clearly like, this is a Japanese show. This is the first place that seems like it's meant to be culturally Asian, which is a bit odd.
It's to me, it's very China.
I think it's, meant to be like Japanese
Like,
version
my-
of perspective
my-
of China.
Yeah, my guess is like southern China, but also I don't know how much that matters overall.
I mean, matters is subjective. It's just interesting
Fair.
that they decided to set it here, and I think
Yeah.
we have more, sort of old school Japan places in other episodes in this show. It's just
Yeah.
interesting that this is where they chose to set this for this purpose.
Yeah,
Hawk doesn't have a stupid accent in the dub, does he?
No.
Okay.
okay.
Anywho, so yeah, Knuckles is looking for this guy because he's searching for the emerald. So he's like, "Oh, maybe I can get help from this other guy." But it results in Knuckles having to beat up some dudes in a bar while looking for him.
I would like to say that there are two background figures in big coats and hats that I instantly recognized as Deco and Boko and laughed out loud. This is like one of the first gags that actually got me.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
fact that the two hats are different lengths to accommodate the shape of
Right.
their heads.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If they had been two normal-sized hats, it wouldn't work. So good on you that one.
Yeah.
And yeah, Eggman is spying on Knuckles, I guess, to get the Chaos Emerald since he knows that Knuckles is good at finding things. But yeah, so Hawk seems to know where one of them is, but some dudes, I don't know if these are like, the mob or just some gang, but they
I'd assume they're
captured him.
triad.
Oh yeah, probably. And they're hoping to get money for the emerald, which
Right.
fair enough.
Hey, it's still a large gem. It makes sense.
Yeah, so Knuckles is going down into the underground complex where he's being held. I'm not sure exactly, but he has. I want to note the flashback that Knuckles has here, because this whole flashback that explains, oh, I live on Angel Island and I protect the Master Emerald. The wording of it seems to imply nobody ever actually introduced him or told him about the concept of protecting Master Emerald. He just kind of decided to do it because he felt like it.
I guess, yeah.
That may be lost in the dub. I didn't notice anything that implied that in the dub anyway.
It says it's his decision, I'm pretty sure, in the Japanese. Which is just interesting because the games, there's plenty of stuff about echidnas in the series. There's no specific explanation as to how Knuckles got to be where he is, because, you know, he's like a late teens, but he's clearly like educated to some extent. Like he can talk
Sure.
and probably read and write too, I'd assume. But we don't know who
Sure.
his parents are. We don't know anything about that.
Well, as long as it's not Locke, he's fine.
And
Right.
it's Catweasel.
Oh, Lord.
I like that this reveals that Knuckles' ideal life would be to just be alone next to the Master Emerald and chill. Like, he's
I mean-
happy doing that.
Fair enough. That sounds like a pretty good life to me.
I mean,
Yeah, it's great.
I like having a bed, but yeah.
Give me a bed and a cell phone and a charger. I'll be fine.
I feel like Knuckles would get into, like, casual puzzle games, like Bejeweled or, like, Peggle.
Oddly specific.
Peggle's the Echidna. No,
After we
That
exit
sounds like an actual echidna.
yeah.
After the flashback ends, there is a legitimately shocking moment where Knuckles shows like actual real smarts because he realizes that there's a listening device in the
Right.
cell and accordingly signals Hawk to start feeding bogus information that ends in a pretty ridiculous way. But it's shocking that the writers wrote Knuckles like this. Like, wow, they acknowledge that he's not just a moron at all
Yeah,
times.
he's not supposed to just be an idiot, even though oftentimes he's portrayed that way.
Yeah, there's nothing about Knuckles' gullibility for the most part in this episode. I think it's because he knows everybody
Right.
else is against him from the start.
Right.
And yeah, they trick the dude with the secret microphone by talking about food, and they distract him, and then they talk quieter and quieter until Knuckles runs up and screams at it in the dude's ear.
I mean,
which-
that's funny, but also, why not just destroy it?
Well, that's the thing, is that they break down the wall, so it's like, what difference does it make?
I think the
Yeah.
idea was to distract them for a moment and then escape, I guess.
I guess.
I guess
It is
it's
in a
one
very
less
cartoony
dude.
way, but
Yeah. Yeah, so they break out, and, well, we see Rouge is following them because, of course, because she likes emeralds. But she gets knocked the fuck out by someone. We don't quite see who it is, I think, when it happens.
Not-
but,
not-
Not
Right.
yet.
But yeah, Hawk did, in fact, find the emerald. I misunderstood the start, because it's been a little bit since I've seen this. But
Right.
he
just
already
hit
found
it.
the emerald, and he contacted Knuckles about it, so that's why Knuckles
Yeah,
came looking for
exactly.
him.
Yeah.
He hid the emerald under some train tracks, but Eggman and Mysterious Lady are here to steal it. It's a bit odd because Mysterious Lady is of course a robot. It's E91,
Right.
a Kunoichi robot.
Yeah.
She has an old man's voice until her reveal shot ends, in which she stops talking entirely and just has a feminine voice for grunts.
Yeah.
this robot is literally just like a full-on android. E91, more like M91, am I right?
Yeah. I don't get it.
M91? Really?
Oh, you're fucking... Sorry, yeah, now I get it. Okay. Took me a second.
Kind of
I
Sonic fan,
understand.
are you? I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I didn't... I should have prayed to ballers in this morning like I intended to. I forgot.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, female ninjas don't use wrecking balls as weapons.
I mean, does anyone use a wrecking ball as a weapon?
I mean, I guess big dudes in, like, Mad Max post-apocalypse worlds.
Yeah.
Something probably in, like, Fist of the North Star, maybe.
Fair.
In any case, they're fighting hard enough that the whole building starts coming apart, and Knuckles and Hawk have to escape without the emerald. But it's okay. We have a good way of getting it, which is to say, Knuckles knocks over a pillar in the safe house and finds the shovel claw?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
apparently they were retrieved from the temple at one point.
I guess
Now-
so.
This is... Well, it says that they were in the temple.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that part is fine.
Yeah.
The question is, what are these... What's the context for this? Is that an Echidna temple?
Right,
That
yes.
brings up more questions than it does answer.
Yeah,
So-
it doesn't make any sense.
Knuckles does recognize the shovel claws, so it's obvious that they're supposed to be the shovel claws and not just coincidentally functioning the same. See, the fact that you're confused worries me slightly because I assumed that this was foreshadowing something about the backstory to the series, and that Mobius and Earth crossed over in the past. There's some connection. That's what I thought.
I mean,
but
I think that would track based
don't
off what we're
spoil
seeing.
it for me, I guess. But that's my
So-
working theory.
Yeah.
I promise not to spoil it, because I legitimately don't remember if there's a line saying that, like, there used to be more connections between the planets. I legitimately don't remember if they say something like that.
Mm,
It's the only
I hope they
explanation
do.
for
That
the-
would make sense.
yeah.
But yeah, it leaves you wondering exactly how alien Sonic and friends are.
Kind of, yeah.
But hey, I'm happy to see that aspect of the game's crossover. I like when Sonic and friends get upgrades, rather at least ones that make diegetic sense. Don't just give Knuckles a ring this time.
Right.
Yeah.
And he
Imagine.
keeps using the shovel claw throughout the show. It just becomes a permanent tool.
Oh.
So
Well, that's good.
Game accurate.
yeah. He digs the emerald out from the wreckage, just in time for Bokun to show up with a message that Eggman kidnapped Hawk. And oh boy, it's time for the usual Eggman dynamic, because he wants to trade the emerald for the guy.
Right.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
But good news, that doesn't happen. I mean, Knuckles agrees to it because of course he does, because
Well, yeah.
never make a deal with Eggman is only a rule out of universe, apparently. But Rouge steps in, actually, to steal the emerald and fight the E91 robot, and then loses it.
Good job.
And then Hawk picks it up, and she just kind of goes away. I'm not sure what. Where are you going? Okay, bye. Yeah, very very weird, because just leave the robot to corner Hawk. I guess it's very very odd.
You know, sure.
In fact, it corners Hawk and overpowers Knuckles, which is surprising. But the day is saved by a bucket of water.
Yep. There's this really weird moment, though, where when Knuckles is, like, restrained with the electric rope or whatever,
Yeah,
and there are,
right.
like, flashes of the Master Emerald, and I'm like, oh, he's about to use Emerald power. Wait a second, this isn't the Archie comics.
I assume it's just signifying that he's like, I don't know if a near-death experience is.
Yeah, if I die here, who's going to protect the Master Emerald?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
But I do have to question with Eggman, with here on Earth with the rest of them, who really is out there to threaten the Master Emerald?
It's
We
not
don't know
like
any-
Eggman is the only menace on
Well,
Mobius.
as far as we know, on this version of Mobius, he is.
We don't know
As far
shit
as we
about
know, he could be a little one, and they're much bigger threats.
That's also true.
In either case, you mentioned the flash of the Master Emerald. What I was going to bring up is that there's also a voice telling him to get the other Chaos Emeralds, which
Right.
I assume is Tikal. I
That's
didn't
what I
look
was
up the voice
assuming.
actress, so I assume that's her normal voice actress. I don't know who else it would be.
Yeah, that's what I assumed it was that it was to call.
So that's
Well, I
at
mean,
least
there's an actual vision later too,
There is a vision at the end of the episode.
where they straight up say the server and the chaos line that makes no sense. So if there's a voice earlier, it's probably the same voice that shows up later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did it. We got the emerald, and it was fine. It's a fine episode.
Yeah, it's an episode.
I think having no Sonic and Friends is a good break with tradition. Did not do a particular disservice to Knuckles, so
Yeah.
No,
You know,
honestly, for Sonic media of the time, this is like really good for Knuckles.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they
right,
treated him
yeah.
very well. Like it's not that
Honestly,
they couldn't have
yeah.
done better, but like it's surprisingly
Sure.
respectful.
Yeah,
in an
no,
era of
surprisingly.
Knuckles as a dumbass, yes, I agree.
Mm.
And frankly, it's not even been that long since that era ended, so
Right.
gotta count our points where we can. It's like we've had about at least an episode almost every single week where it's like, yeah, that one's all right, and it's like it makes me want to just string together those ones and not worry too much about the others, but it's like, you can't quite do that. This show is just plot-focused enough that you would miss things.
Sure.
Case
I
in
mean,
point...
you could still just summarize them with a sentence, the ones that you're missing, and it'd be like the same experience. Actually, be an improvement.
Yeah, probably. Case in point, episode 18,
Uh,
Huge Battle on the Savannah, or The Dam Scam.
that's a better name, I'm going to be honest. That English name's a better name.
Oh,
It's not been the first one.
yeah, I think that there's been plenty of decent enough
Yeah.
localized names.
Yeah, no,
and
there
I
has been.
understand
That's
why
the
they
first.
changed them a lot of
That's
them.
the first one I've specifically noticed, though.
Yeah. After crash landing on the not quite African savannah, Tails and Chris are motivated to protect the wildlife from predatory corporations building a dam. Meanwhile, Sonic and Eggman do some stuff.
You got
Yeah,
it.
pretty much.
And I say not quite African savannah because they don't say Africa. This is clearly Africa, but they say this is the nature continent.
Jesus Christ!
and
They're
Tails like,
using.
yeah.
Hey, they're at least using those passports, apparently.
In the dub, they just say it's a nature preserve.
Oh, that's interesting. Which implies that it's like way closer to home than it is. Tails also says we have a continent just like this on our homeworld, which is interesting. Like, is the geography of the planets the same? That doesn't make any sense. Or maybe it does.
Maybe
Again,
they-
I don't remember.
maybe
It
how-
they-
might, depending on
maybe-
the origins, yeah.
Maybe Tails means aesthetically.
Well, it's like I don't think that they've seen any particular nature that they're not, some amount used to. So,
Sure.
but Eggman is here right now. No time for tourism. He just shows up immediately.
Yeah, bro's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. Episode starts off with a bang. Unfortunately, does not live up to that. But
It
yeah, there's
starts
some
off with a
action
bang that
early on.
immediately.
They took the bang from the end of the episode where Sonic would normally get the ring and instantly obliterate things, and instead he just has him destroy the egg fort in seconds.
Yeah.
I absolutely love when Deco panics and just falls apart spontaneously.
Yeah, that bit is good. We're really kind of diminishing Eggman a little bit.
Yeah, I used to be happy to see my boy, but he's kind of just in the background now. Like, he's not
Yeah.
even-
Well, he hasn't really been doing a whole lot.
It really feels at a certain point like they're killing time until they get to the end of the first core for realsies.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
So yeah, and the X Tornado is damaged in the attack, so I guess he didn't do nothing, but it's like, eh. So it's like, looks like it's Cyclone for today, right? No,
No.
Cyclone mode falls the fuck over. They've used the legs twice, and both times it's been worthless.
It really has.
It's a commentary on the mech gameplay in SA2.
Yeah, Also, Amy's not here. I guess they just left her at home.
Yeah, it's just the three boys.
I feel like this is the first one that they haven't taken her on.
Probably.
But Tails says, I'd like to set up a workshop in a place like this, which is a little bit of SA1 foreshadowing, or it would be if it weren't for the fact that this is Africa, and
Not
Sonic Adventures
South
Workshop is in
America?
fucking South America, yeah.
That is very funny.
Yeah,
They say set up a workshop. In the dub, they say that Tails wants to build an engineering company.
Oh, that's weird.
That's a pretty big change.
Skynet Systems. Engineering.
Yeah.
I mean,
I cannot see Tails doing that.
co-owner
No.
of Chuck. But
No,
Chuck
Tails
already
is-
has a successful tech company.
Yeah.
I guess I'm assuming that Chuck built the company and then his son inherited it. I don't know.
Yeah, Chuck
Nepotism.
went crazy and
He asks Chris, like, oh, what do you want to do with your life? And Chris is like, well, I've been hanging out with animals so much. I want to be a zoologist. And then he's like, shit, wait, these aren't just animals. And it's like Chris is like wondering if he's like a chaser kind of.
yeah, he like immediately backpedals and like, wait, not because of you guys or anything.
Yeah.
And Tails just completely ignores his statements.
Yeah,
It's honestly the best way to respond to that.
I feel like Tails wasn't even actually paying attention.
Well, how the hell would you? It's like if you met a space alien and he was like, "Oh, you guys are kind of like monkeys, but a little different." It's like, how do you respond to that?
That is a good point.
Anyway, We cut back to Eggman, who's busy murdering some crocodiles with electricity.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, he just kills a buttload of crocodiles.
Yeah, sometimes we just get really cold Eggman moments.
Yeah, well, that seemed like it was kind of an accident. Oh no,
he would have
it
done it on
wasn't.
purpose.
No, excuse me, it wasn't an accident. I thought it was.
It's a stealth callback to the King of the Hill episodes we did, where they just murder all the snakes.
Jesus Christ.
Or I guess a call forward, because I think that episode is aired after this. King of the Hill paying tribute to Sonic X.
Yes.
Anyway, but they bring out E65, which is this big Pex monkey robot. It really likes pounding its chest cockpits.
Where Deco and Boko just happen to be there.
Yeah, they literally state that it has a will of its own, so like, why are they there?
Yeah, why are you piloting it if it moves on its own?
Yeah.
It's not just like a one-off gag, as they have his thing beat its chest a lot in this episode, just for that one gag.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sonic is insecure and needs to prove how much better he is than animals by racing this cheetah and showing off by breaking the sound barrier.
While carrying the cheetah.
Oh, of course.
He's the first... It's the first cheetah to achieve supersonic travel.
Let me show you some real speed, fucko.
You're the fastest land animal? Not anymore, fuckface.
That might be an actually interesting plot line. I feel like the comics have dipped into that before. Like, if Sonic was actually insecure about being the fastest.
Sure.
We haven't seen that in a game, I don't
It would be kind of... I do think
of
it would be funny, a funny episode if they wanted to just do, like, an actually funny, just one-off. Would be like, just get Sonic to go around beating land speed records, but for everything.
I mean, we've got race episodes in almost every Sonic cartoon. I would say...
Yeah.
Having Sonic be genuinely, like, upset about other people being theoretically faster than him feels pretty out of character for most Sonics. I could see it with Archie Sonic, and
Archie Sonic, yes.
Maybe Fleetway Sonic, the comic Sonic. That one's
to me,
a judge on.
This Sonic doesn't seem like he'd be insecure about it. This Sonic just seems like he'd want to do it because it sounds fun.
No, he's clearly just doing it to mess with him. But it reminds me of
he's fucking with the cheetah.
The Sad AM episode when Eggman builds, ironically, also a cheetah robot.
That's right. Yeah.
And Sonic goes to race it, but as soon as he realizes there's danger, he just abandons it.
Right.
Which I think we mentioned. I think that was a really good showing of his character.
Yeah, that was a good showing of Sonic's character.
But yeah, Tails and Chris find some kind of quarry out here, and
just out of fucking nowhere.
It's a bit odd because they find it and they just walk right up to management and ask about it, and I feel like the foreman's first thought is, or should be, what the fuck is a kid doing out here in the middle of the savannah?
With a talking fox and a mech.
Well, I mean, it's the famous kid, so...
He doesn't seem to recognize... Well, neither of them seem to recognize Tails or Chris.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that they aren't weirded out by Tails...
They just take Tails at face value. But they just kind of tell them to fuck off.
They're just other than
they're busy. Don't bother them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe that's just how normalized Sonic and Friends' presence on Earth has become at this point. I don't know.
Already, I guess.
I don't think I remember many scenes of them being like stared at in public after this. But yeah, they're busy being cartoon evil businessmen, so it's not really a big deal. They're building a dam for some sort of financial reason. I assume it makes them money.
Yeah,
they don't specify exactly what it's for, but it's a threat to the animals because of course it is.
Yeah.
And that leads into the most interesting scene and the only reason that you watch this episode, because we get a little bit of Tails' backstory.
Yeah.
Because he feels bad for the animals. He's like, oh, these guys are big bullies. And so we get to see Tails being bullied as a kid.
Not because he's a genetic freak, but because he's smart.
Yeah. Two Tails be damned, my boy's an egghead.
Bro's a fucking nerd, we gotta bully him.
So the funny thing about this flashback is I was like, oh, okay, Tails is getting bullied, so Sonic will step in and help him. No,
Nope. Sonic.
Tails is just like, hey, you look cool. Let's be friends.
Yeah, he just sees Sonic and starts stalking him.
And that's accurate to old school Japanese.
That's true. That is accurate.
That's what like the old manuals used to say. They don't say that now. Nowadays they have sort of a hybrid between this with like the Sonic Origins cutscenes where Tails is getting bullied and Sonic sort of incidentally defeats them by accident.
Right.
But yeah, Tails just sort of starts following Sonic around because.
And then starts fucking with his plane also.
Yeah, this is the weird bit, is that he follows Sonic and sees the tornado, and he's like, this needs to be blue.
Well, he also does say if I futz with the transmission, it'll be even faster.
Yeah, but it's not yours.
That's true. He just starts painting Sonic's plane, which does confirm, because I don't know if they'd outright said yet if the tornado was Sonic's plane in this continuity as well.
Probably not, no.
But this does confirm that it is still Sonic's plane.
Yep.
For all of the 8 seconds that we see it, because Sonic decides to be a cool bro and say, I'll just take it. You can have it.
That's true. He then gives it to Tails.
And it is funny, because you think that flashback, if it had been about standing up against the bullies, it would make sense, because Tails is like, we need to stand up against these dam builders.
But it had nothing to do with standing up against bullies.
Yeah, maybe if he had painted them blue, that would be something.
Regardless of what leads him to this and how it relates to the flashback, this is very funny, because I did not expect Tails to address the regular animals and be like, hey, you gotta stand up for yourselves. And then the regular animals respond like they know what he's saying. And then, suddenly he leads a revolution. Like, wait a second. You can't... wait. So Mobian animals can communicate with regular animals.
Oh, you know.
This is not an isolated incident. It's not like this is the only time that humans have encroached on nature. If this is taken to its logical conclusion, then Tails and all of his friends should, like, object to all these acts by humans and put up more of a fuss.
Yeah, realistically, the Mobians should be leading a full animal revolution.
It is really hard to world build a story with both human and furry characters and normal animals without running into weird shit like this.
Kind of, yeah.
Unless that's, like, explicitly what your story is about, which Sonic definitely is not. They take the entire damn animal kingdom into the city and rally support for a protest. It's weird, and the fact that, Tails can just talk to animals, ?
You know, sure.
I don't think this is supposed to be presented as, like, some unique power that the furries have. Like, I think this is supposed to be that any character, but in this case it is Tails, could give a speech so empowering that apparently the animals get inspired by it.
I guess so.
Well, it makes me wonder if the Mobian animals can communicate with regular animals and bring out something in the regular animals that does not manifest otherwise. What are the implications, again, about the backstory of the two worlds? Makes me think that maybe the two animal kinds are related
some
somehow.
Sort of connection.
There was a sort of war here too.
Oh my god!
They'll prove it otherwise.
You know what? I'll take it.
We've had more aliens following a specific archetype across continuities than anything else in this series, I think. But so the protest actually works is amazingly. They do in fact shut down the dam, but because these are cartoon evil businessmen, they decide, all right, if we can't have it, nobody can.
No one can.
Burn down the forest.
We're going full Brazilian government.
There was a fucking tweet I saw that said something like, Bolsonaro is autistic and his hyperfixation is being sent to the hospital.
Jesus Christ.
Anywho, the rationale here is completely insane. Because they say, we'll burn down the forest because that smoke can become rain clouds and flood the town so that people want a dam.
That's how that works, right?
No!
That's how that works.
No!
That's science.
What?
It tracks, you know.
Smoke does not become rain clouds.
Maybe not in your world.
Oh yeah, we're learning more about the physics in the Sonic universe.
Okay, you can breathe in space, you
Yeah.
can become frozen and not die,
Mhm.
and smoke becomes rain clouds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See, you got it.
And probably some other things that I'm missing, but
You'll get it. Don't worry.
in any case, GorillaBot Prime has showed up, and he can turn invisible. That's his power.
Which is such a weird power for
Yeah, I wouldn't have
GorillaBot.
expected that.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
It doesn't really make any sense, but
Not really.
It makes
It
less
should-
sense later.
it sure is the thing that it is. He goes up against Sonic. Eggman is looking for both Sonic and GorillaBot. I want to mention that he flies past the business dorks and yells, "You, minor characters, get out of my way!"
Even Eggman knows.
He inadvertently stops them from setting the forest on fire. Eggman saves the day.
God damn, Eggman. Good job.
This show likes to occasionally sprinkle in fourth wall breaks, just enough that it doesn't become overbearing. I think it's
Yeah,
good balance,
I mean-
actually.
That is the way to do it.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see like how fed up we get with Sonic Boom doing that.
If it's not sprinkled, then it's probably too much.
I mean, it's not every episode, so it's probably ratio wise not that different from X in total. Anyway, so E65 is actually pretty strong against Sonic because of the whole invisibility thing. Until the second that Sonic's like, what if I just listen for his movements? And then it's just instantly
Sonic
wins.
pulls more bullshit out of his ass.
I don't think
Well,
it's...
look, it would have been more ridiculous if I cannot. I'm sure the writers could come up with some really stupid way to do this, but
I mean, yeah.
something to the extent of like, okay, the speed of sound, I can like move at a
Sonic-
certain speed, so that it resonates with the background noise and cancels it out so that I can clearly hear where E65 is and
So
then
Sonic has-
attack them. 'Cause if it's a speed-related power, then Sonic could do it.
Well, so what we're saying is that Sonic should be able to create a noise canceling field.
No, he should be able to
Right.
create an invisibility canceling field. If I vibrate at the right density, I can just see him.
I mean, I would honestly take that. It's stupid, but whatever.
What? Okay, so my thing with this is that it's not that it doesn't make sense, because if you listen for the movements of something that you can't see, you'll be able to detect it.
I mean,
the problem is
yeah.
just that it's too easy. That's my issue.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I don't know. You know, let's be honest, that's Lauren's explanation. That's something the Archie comics would do. This show's explanation would be like, oh, they throw a ring to Sonic, but it hits
And he
the
can just
robot,
do
and
it.
the power of the ring like disables the invisibility, and so Sonic just grabs it and then wins.
Fair.
Well, the funny thing about this is that Sonic basically cancels out the whole invisibility thing by just listening, apparently.
Right.
But then the show feels the need to actually make another way to get around the invisibility.
Yep.
Because they fight for a while, and then it brings them to the construction site, and
Right.
then Sonic is like, "Ha! I've found your weakness." Like it's some brilliant discovery. Like this is very logical. Yes, of course. Eggman designed his robot to blend in with natural environments, but not metal. Okay, really?
Alright, yeah, sure. Of course,
Listen.
Eggman.
Industrial and metal environments are famously a place that Eggman robots never appear, so...
Obviously.
How could he
yeah.
have known?
Exactly.
Yeah, how could he have known?
And yeah, like, I figured out your gambit by standing on the right side of you.
I do like that Eggman sees this though, and he's like, "Okay, we'll just start blowing up everything that's metal."
Yeah. And that almost works. He's just not fast enough because Sonic does still get a ring and bust the bot out of existence. So
Right.
Obligatory.
and Eggman's like, oh, I don't need that big chunky thing. I'll take you on one. And then they just jump cut past the fight because it wants us to think he's that pathetic. Which is I'd almost like, how do I say this? Eggman in just an Eggmobile, yes, fine, I believe it. It's just that it's like, again, more diminishing. Because like you don't have any kind of mech to bring out. It's so rare that he uses any kind of Eggmobile attachments, which that's every Eggman boss in the games.
Right.
But we end off with Eggman sending a Bokun message to him, and the message is that Sonic, you suck, and now Bokun has to tap dance.
Yeah. Some of these shows gags, I don't know what they were going for.
Sometimes I wonder if the show even knows what it's going for.
This show can be funny, but a lot of its jokes are really weird. Yeah, the business dorks get arrested for attempted arson, and I'm wondering who told the cops.
Eggman.
I guess. Nobody knew what they were gonna do except them, and they didn't do it.
Destroy the environment except for me, fuckers.
I could see that.
Well, because what they were doing before wasn't illegal.
Well, yeah, I assume they had a legal permit to build this dam.
Yeah. Very odd. And Tails remarks at the end, hey, Eggman inadvertently helped protect the environment. And that's the end of the episode. That's our episodes for today. Weird episodes today.
Yeah, that was definitely some episodes.
The Knuckles one was the best, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
Would you put the Africa one ahead of the Sunken Ship one?
I'm gonna be honest, I put them on the same level.
They're basically the same.
They're interchangeable, and neither one of them is good.
Yeah, they're both pretty middling. This show is premium mid a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Premium mid. Yeah.
Premium mid.
It's fine. Next time we'll get something from the games. We'll get the meme episode, and we'll get an episode that might be kind of fun. I don't know.
You're really convincing me, Devin.
I've kind of given up at this point. You guys are going to like and dislike what you like and dislike. I'm having an okay time, but I can't blame you for not necessarily feeling the same.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried, because only a couple episodes of our reviews are up now, and, some Sonic X fans have showed up and be like, oh, I love that you guys are having fun with the show, and it's like, I'm worried that, like, are they gonna be disappointed when we get into these more critical episodes? And it's like, we just have to push through to some of the adventure adaptations. It'll get a lot better, but I can't say that as a defense of anything we're doing at this point.
I guess to any Sonic X fans, it's okay that we don't like it at the moment.
No, that's fine. And this is one of the things is that it's crazy, right? Because you're never gonna see another show like this. Because how often nowadays do you have an animated show that starts at episode 1 and runs to episode 78, 22 minutes an episode without a break? They just don't make that anymore. And it's a shame, because you can do a lot of interesting stuff with that. Instead, they did this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit of a disappointment this week.
Definitely.
But, the thing with episodic shows is that you can have bad episodes, and then there's other episodes.
Yeah, the thing is that you can be disappointed.
Yeah. So with all that said, that is where we're ending off for tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope we're not too pessimistic for you. Or if we are, maybe that's a lot of good engagement bait. Maybe you getting mad at us will help the channel grow.
Hell yeah.
If you like this episode, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, criticism, or feedback, feel free to comment. Feel free to reach us at any of the links in the link tree in the description. And we will see you next week for another episode. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a great rest of your nights. And take care.